established the AIRE program, Arlington Initiative to Rethink Energy. At the same time, they instituted a residential utility tax of up to $3 a month, and Arlington was the only locality without this tax at that time. They've directed the funds toward Arlington's energy and climate initiatives. The tax is tied to energy consumption, and the revenues have funded energy-saving programs for both residents and businesses, implementation of the board-adopted community energy plan, and a series of energy and money-saving projects within the county facilities themselves, lowering the county's operating costs. So it's a two-part question. Would you favor continuing to dedicate this special utility tax to the AIRE program? And number two, would you oppose cuts to Arlington's energy programming? Would you favor continuing to dedicate this specific utility tax to the AIRE program, and also would you oppose cuts to Arlington's energy programming in general? And then so we'll go ahead and start here with Mike and work down the line. I got my timekeeper back.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Mike McDermott. I'm an independent and I'm running for Arlington County Board, as you may know. I'm a 21-year resident of Arlington County. I've spent a lot of time in the community here in Arlington. I was the president of my civic association for 2 terms. I spent 8 years on Fiscal Affairs Advisory Commission overseeing the budget, making recommendations to the county about the budget. And I also was president of the Arlington County Civic Federation. I have a wife, I have 2 children that have gone through the public school system. I have a son who's now at Brown University, and I have a son who's a senior this year at HB Woodlawn. I'm a small business owner. I'm the only small business owner that's running this year, and I own my own business, and I understand business in the county and what we need to do to entice business to come to Arlington County. So I'm a communications lawyer by background. That's what I do, and I'm also consulting. I do a lot of work with companies in Silicon Valley and also in Boston. You know, my campaign is essentially about doing the basic things in our community. I want to pave your roads. I want to put the money back into neighborhoods. I want to do the neighborhood conservation program. I want to adequately fund that. I want to be a good steward of your money. I want to make sure that we upkeep our parks. We haven't done a very good job of upkeeping our parks over the last decade, and we need to spend a lot of money in terms of parks. We also need to fix the school overcrowding issue. We need to spend money and fix the problems with the schools that we have today, either building new buildings or building up these buildings so it doesn't get dedicated onto parkland. And you know, I want to bring business into the county, and I'm looking at ways to entice business to come into the county, and also know that we got to get the occupancy rate up in those buildings sitting in Crystal City. We've gotten the occupancy rate down recently, but we need to do better in this county because, you know, that's going to have an impact on all of us, because if we don't get that tax base up, it's going to reflect in our residential tax base and to keep all these wonderful things that we have in Arlington. You know, Arlington is a wonderful place to live, so I want to maintain that and make sure we do the right things. You know, I talked to Paul last week about the Fresh Air program and about the energy concept and so forth. And that was put in about 8 years ago, I think, 8 or 9 years ago, the program was put in. And I remember because it came before Fiscal Affairs Advisory Commission. And you know, if it has that substantial impact that it's having today, I don't see any reason why we would crush that program or stop that program at this juncture, because of the benefits that it's providing to the community and also to the facilities. So I'm all for keeping programs that are funded, that are important to the community.
All right, thank you. Audrey.
Yes. Okay, folks.
I'll give you the 1 minute warning.
I'm Audrey Clement, the independent candidate for Arlington County Board. As an 11-year Westover resident and longtime civic activist with a PhD in political science and service as a congressional fellow, I am running to reform county government. Now, though I am running as an independent, you should all know, and many of you do know, that I have served the Green Party at the local, state, and national level. So there is absolutely no doubt about my environmental credentials. Therefore, the answer to this question is quite obvious for me. I do support the residential utility tax. I understand that this tax is actually not regressive in the sense that people who, low-income people and people who are greening their homes qualify for substantial discounts to the tax. So it's actually an incentive-based tax. I like that. I have no reason to oppose it. And furthermore, you're going to hear more from me tonight that my criticism is not that the county is doing too much to green the county. The county is doing too little to green the county, and that's one of the reasons why I want to get elected. I want more recycling, enforcement particularly. I want more renewable energy. I want renewable energy on all public buildings that are built new or renovated, and I could go on. But suffice it to say that I do support AIRE, and I do support the $3 residential utility tax with the discounts that are applied.
Thank you. Christian?
You know, unless this is being recorded, I can go without this. My voice will. I think my voice will carry. Go on. Okay, thank you. Good evening. My name is Christian Dorsey, and I'm a Democratic nominee for County Board. And I am so happy that you are here tonight. One of my favorite businesses that also happens to be 5 minutes walking away from my house. So I appreciate you all being here tonight. I've lived in Arlington for 22 years. My wife and I have 2 daughters, the oldest of which attends Arlington Public Schools. By day, I'm a macroeconomic policy professional at a think tank in Washington, where my particular areas of interest are community development, as well as public budgeting and overall income inequality. Prior to that, I served as CEO for 2 nonprofits in Arlington that were well regarded for delivering high quality services on quite frugal budgets, and I'm proud to say we were able to deliver some great outcomes, providing literacy support for children who suffered from housing instability, as well as leading efforts to revitalize the Naut community by providing essential human services through a pop-up social services center, and also partnering to develop affordable housing. And I'm proud to say the first Earthcraft certified multifamily building in Arlington County was what we helped develop. I've also been a veteran of many county public processes and commissions, serving on the Planning Commission in years past, and a stint for 4 years as chairman of the Tenant Landlord Commission, as well as being involved in our affordable housing ordinance task force. Suffice it to say, I love Arlington. I'm committed to this place. And I'm so pleased that we have this forum tonight, which synthesizes a lot of what makes Arlington special and highlights a key reason why I'm running for office. We have no easy decisions left in Arlington. They're going to be all tough. It requires thoughtful policy thinkers who are able to engage wide constituencies to figure out what are the most thoughtful and best ways to move forward. One of the ways in which we've done this very well in years past is the AIRE program. And Paul, I'm not just saying this because it was your signature initiative and you're in the room. But if you think about it for a second, what we have here is an opportunity to leverage a tax which was sorely needed. Arlington stood alone, not in a good way, in not having a residential utility tax. But what we were able to do was to direct those funds, and that's the key part of the question. Those must remain dedicated to the efforts of AIRE, which have actually exceeded its goals, its expectations for reducing emissions. It's also proceeded to leverage a lot of different partnerships which have produced ancillary benefits all throughout commercial and government buildings in Arlington. And we need to do more of it. When you think about opportunities for building retrofits to become even greener, the opportunities abound, and I'm looking forward to working on these issues.
Much to my chagrin, I don't have Christian's baritone, so I will use the mic. That maybe not. Great. Good evening, everyone. I'm Katie Crystal. I'm honored to be the second Democratic nominee for the 2 open seats on the board this year. It's so nice to meet you all, and thank you so much to our evening's host for gathering us and providing this opportunity. So I am running for Arlington County Board because I see this community at an inflection point. We have 2 open seats on our 5-member board for the first time in a generation, and a set of challenges that others have outlined, a growing population that poses new demands for our facilities, some commercial instability that's causing us to think about our fiscal circumstances a little bit differently. I am running for county board because when I look at this set of circumstances, I see an opportunity for new perspectives and ways of thinking differently about our challenges. My own perspective is informed by my policy background. I work in education policy, and practically that means that I spend time with states, with districts, with nonprofits, trying to do things like better planning their resources, engaging the community in change, and strategic planning of allocation of time, money, and efforts. It's a set of skills that I think will be particularly relevant to our county board in an era where citizen engagement, as we make these tough choices, will be more important than ever. Here in Arlington, I've also been involved in our schools, both as a volunteer and an appointee, the Advisory Council on Instruction, a set of perspectives that I think will benefit the next county board as the board looks for an era of greater collaboration with the schools. I've also been involved in our commission process, working as a commissioner on the status of women and leading research efforts to elevate issues like childcare affordability and community response to sexual assault. So I argue it's a point of view that's very much informed by how things work or don't always work in Arlington County, combined with a genuine openness to new ideas, because as you can probably tell, I haven't been around forever. So I appreciate very much the chance to talk in greater depth with you all with some of these issues this evening. And to answer the question at hand, I think if I'm remembering how the question was structured, yes, I do support continuing to link the utility tax to fresh air programming, and yes, I support the continued fresh air programming. You know, as others have alluded, if we are going to levy a tax to nudge behavior, there ought to be ways to change your behavior, or I suppose more specifically, the behavior of your home. And that's what's been very well designed about the fresh air program. I think there may be temptation as we approach more difficult budget times ahead to want to keep that revenue coming in and decouple it from investments in energy. And I think from a social justice perspective, as well as an energy efficiency perspective, it's really important that if we're going to tax behavior, we provide people with the opportunities to change it. And want to also just echo the point that one of the benefits of the fresh air program that I think we ought to seek to emulate is the way in which it represents a partnership between county staff and citizens, particularly many in this room and Arlingtonians for a clean environment, in delivering this sort of education that is often best done in a peer-to-peer way. And so I think there's a lot that we can learn from the program and absolutely support its continued efforts.